This episode of the Billionaire Lifestyle Podcast is sponsored by Jamie's Designs, your one-stop shop for custom laser creations, gifts, and home decor. Looking for a special present for a loved one? Stop by Etsy at Jamie's Designs Shop, or visit us on Facebook or Instagram by following the link in the show description, or type at JAMIESDES on your device. We are making your laser dreams come true. Welcome to the Billionaire Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Emmett Muckles. Please visit iTunes, Stitcher, or emmettmuckles.com to listen to all the episodes for free.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Billionaire Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Emmett Muckles. Emmett and friends, we are at the precipice of change. This is the time where anything is possible. I just got off the phone with a friend of mine, and we were talking about what it was like for the generations before us. They used to have to go to a library or they would have to ask a friend. But now, information is readily available at the tip of your fingers. All you have to do is ask, and you shall receive information. This is a part of the billionaire lifestyle. You need to find out what your purpose is on this planet and put it forth. You are a billionaire. You are special. There's no one else like you. There never has been, and there never will be again. So you get this moment, live it to the max. Today, for those of you who are thinking about writing a book, I have just the person for you. As a matter of fact, I have just what the doctor ordered. Dr. Afshan Hashmi. How are you?
I'm fine, Emmett. How are you? And it's a pleasure to be on your show.
First, I have to ask you a very topical question for me. Hindi or Bindi?
Hindi or?
Bindi. I used to do South Asian weddings.
Oh, okay.
And so they would say, we're Hindi or we're Bindi.
I am Hindi.
Okay. All right. So tell me what got you to now. You've written a book, but it's not just like you wake up one day maybe, or maybe you did. You woke up and said, I'm going to write a book. You have to have a topic. You have to know how to write it so it flows, so people can understand it. You got to have understanding of graphics and gutters, and you have to have a subject. But you wrote 2 books. So tell me how you got to now.
I was born in India and educated both in India, and when after my marriage I came to United States, and I was looking for a faculty position in a university, and I did not want to do a postdoctoral fellowship for the whole lifetime, so because the hours were very long. So, but unfortunately I did not get a faculty position. So then I said, okay, now, and then I was laid off from a very handsome paying job. So I said, what to do next? So I thought, let me write a book. And those days, jugaad, thinking outside the box and common sense was very common. And there was a research going on in Harvard about thinking outside the box and common sense, and Stanford was also doing research. So this Hindi word jugaad was very, very in those days. So I thought, let me write a book on jugaad, because we as Indians employ jugaad in everyday life. And that's how I wrote my first book, The Modern Mughal Mentality, New Strategies to Succeed in India and the Global Marketplace.
So let me diverge here. What is Mughal?
Mughal is like a very rich businessman, and this is like a Arabic pronunciation, Mughal. So it is Mughal is Mogul.
Ah.
So, yes. So that's what it is. That's what it is.
I was wondering when I was looking at the book, I was trying to figure it out, but now it makes sense. English is a really strange language. It is a language that is made up of all different types of languages, and words come from it. And I just learned something today. So I know you have all this information, or you had all this information, but how did you put it in order so that everybody could easily understand it?
Oh, actually, with my business experience, I used to take American delegations to India, and I had a lot of experience in Indian market entry strategies. So I combined all that experience I had, and then I delved into doing a lot of research. So this book is like in a case study format, and any business can profit from there.
So when did you begin writing the book?
Oh, this is a long story. 7 years. Took me 7 years to write this book because this was my first book. So it was 7 years and 3 years of research. So altogether 10 years.
So with that, how long did it take you to write your second book?
It was just 2 years.
So with that, what all did you learn when you said, I'm going to write a book? You know, you were in academia and you said, I can write a book. What did you learn that you didn't think let me get this right. What did you discover?
I discovered that if you write a book, then there are some readers there, and all of a sudden when my book became Amazon bestsellers, so my popularity shooted above. If just I have been a researcher or just a simple professor I don't think so I would be that popular. And it was a very hard, long journey. So, but I attained that, and here I am.
So where's your book most popular? Where were most of your readers from? Were they?
They are in United States.
Okay. What about other countries? So have you branched out or?
Yes. Like my book is available worldwide, both of them. This one is a very timely book, The Outbreak of a Monstrous Infection. This came in 2019 when there was no trace of coronavirus. And this tells how a virus ruins the human population. So in a very unique way, I have talked about bioterrorism. And there is a virus which spreads in this book, and it ruins the human population as coronavirus has done in 2020.
So how did you come up with that idea? Was it just inspired?
Because I am a scientist by profession, and the kind of terrorism which was going around, I wanted to educate my people that, all these viruses and all, they are very dangerous. If they slip out, or intentionally if they slip out, or some military people are making it, they are very harmful to the population. So I just wanted to educate my people, my readers on this thing, and I wanted to also show that I know science. Well, I didn't get a faculty position, but I know science.
So what was the position you were going for?
I was going for a faculty position in a university, and somebody promised me, but unfortunately I couldn't get it. And it was a big setback in my career.
So I'm going to go back. When did you come to the United States?
In 1992.
And when you got here, and I'm asking this for a very specific reason, what did you think? Was it what you thought it was, or did you find out that it's different than most people outside the country think?
Oh, actually, my parents were here long ago before my birth. My father was, so they studied from Berkeley and University of California, UCSF. So they were always talking about America. So I kind of knew what America is, and I always wanted to come here and make a career for me.
Awesome. But you said your parents were in Berkeley. But you landed on the East Coast, and that's where...
yes.
So are you... before the coronavirus, were you doing any talks or were you doing any workshops based on your books?
Yes, I give webinars. I speak about culture of India, about how to do business in India, and then how to become a best-selling author. Or I also give how to market your books, because there is a strategy when your books become bestsellers. They just don't become a bestsellers overnight. You have to do lot of promotion, and there is a strategy behind it.
So how did you figure out the marketing for your book? Because that, anybody can write a book. As a matter of fact, it used to be you would write a book, a house would give you a contract or they would buy your book, but then they would, or they give you some money, but then you had to go promote your book. All that has changed in the last 10 years because now it's easier than ever for anyone to write a book. So it's easy for a book to just fall into the wayside and you to have 100 books sitting in your closet and you can't get rid of. What was your eye-opening moment saying, here's what I need to do to make this book a success?
Oh, because from the very beginning, I wanted to make money because I was doing this full time. So I had to find a way that how this book would become successful. So I would go and attend classes, read, and do a lot of research, and then found out that marketing is the key and optimization of the Amazon page and the real keywords. And then I would employ those kind of strategies, and then if you buy, like Amazon likes, if you buy things when your book is launched, like all your friends buy at the same time. That is also one of the strategy. Like one day when your is launched, that day if people buy it, all your friends, you tell all your friends and your business associates and all to buy the book, so it goes up very high in the rank. So my book was hot #1 new release as well as a bestseller.
Awesome. How long did it take you to get there?
It took me, I told you, like 10 years of writing.
No. I'm talking about once you release the book, how long before you hit that bestseller status?
Within 2 months.
Oh, wow. So yes. It was continually selling.
My first book, yes, with my first book within 2 months. And then with my second book, it took me around 8 or 10 months. So because those two genres were very different. The first one, this one was a business book, and this one was a science fiction. And science fiction is a very, very popular genre. So maybe it also depends upon in which category you put your book. So if a lot of best-selling and very established authors are sitting in science fiction category, then you have to also look like, man, which category? Because there are some categories in which if you put your book and just after 25 or 30 books, your book becomes a bestseller. But in the science fiction, where my book is, thousands of that you have to sell in order to become a bestseller.
How much research did you have to do? Because you switched genres. You switched from, kind of a philosophy book, business book, to a fiction book. Those are two totally different categories. And you did a bio fiction book as well. So I know a lot of research had to go into that. What was that process for you?
It was a very daunting task, but since I'm a scientist by profession, I knew exactly what research to do to write a fiction book. So that was not difficult, but promotion thing, man, that was so difficult because I cannot hire a publicist. They are so expensive.
Yeah.
So I had to do, and every day I'm learning something new, and I employ that. And if it becomes successful, then I translate it into my business.
So are you helping people not only write a book, but are you helping them with the marketing as well? Because anybody can write, because all you have to do is get probably a book shepherd or get a good editor, and they'll tell you how to lay out your content or lay it for readability and subject matter. But it seems the difference between those who are successful and those who are not is the marketing.
Yes.
where did you begin? Because I know at the beginning of the process, you're like, I don't know anything about this.
Yes, I didn't know anything, but by hit and trial method, because I thought, I have to somehow bring traffic to these pages. So to bring traffic to these pages, I had to learn. Like if there is no traffic to my website, if there's no traffic to my Amazon page, there is no sales. And that has to change into conversion. So bringing traffic and then optimizing the Amazon page with the right keywords, like people will search that. So it's a lot of research.
Did you find tools that you could use that would help you to find these keywords or to help you optimize your page? And I know, that this is what you do. So I'm just going to delve into that. Then I'm going to ask how people can find you.
Oh, they can find me at www.afshanhashmi.com and www.drafshanhashmi.com. Then I have a radio show which has a listenership of 300 million listeners, and it is on W4WN radio. And then I have a TV show which comes on every last Saturday and I have there a 6-minute segment, and it comes on Fox 5 Plus. So those are the things which I promote. So every author should do that, like just to start a podcast, or just so that you have some readership. And if people like you, or believe me, if everything fails, if you write a book, there are some readers who will read your book.
How did you get the TV show?
One of my friends, although she never invited me to be in her TV show. She is executive producer, but after my first book, she was very much interested. So she's the executive producer, and here she distributes it through, it's called Global Television Network, and she distributes it through Fox 5 Plus.
Wow. That's pretty impressive. It seems like the gods were smiling on you. If you take a step, they provide the path for you, and it seems like you keep finding that path. When is your next book coming out?
Maybe next year towards the end, or a year after that. I'm just in the research phase, and that will also be a science fiction and mystery, because I feel I can do justice to that with my scientific background, and then one book under my belt of science fiction.
I'm sorry. What was your specific field of science?
Biochemistry.
All
viruses and bacteria and all I have studied all my life.
Oh, so you're a very popular person right now.
It's a very unfortunate era,
Yeah, well, I always think of it like this. If you try to play God, you have to be able to have the responsibility of God, which means if you want to create or alter life, you have to know everything that life is going to do when it comes into this being. Having said that, I know we've been dealing with microbiology and altering genes and DNA for quite a long time now. But there's still a lot we don't understand, because, what got us here as billionaires on this planet is it took us millennia to get to this point. And we're starting out with something like, hey, let's try this. And you don't know what it's going to do in the long term. But, that's just life. That's man. Man likes to try to create. What's your objective in the next 18 months? Besides, you said you have a book coming out, you have a TV show, you have a podcast. Is there anything that you don't do?
That's what many people say, like just writing books and, taking life as it comes. Like, I really don't have very high aims now, because naturally self-published authors cannot become New York Times bestsellers. And I'm a self-published author. I don't go the traditional route, because I feel, it is too much wastage of time.
Really? Stephen King is a self-published author.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Most people didn't know that Stephen King self-publishes, actually.
Okay.
At least
I didn't know that.
At least I read that. That's what I found out when I was writing my book years and years ago. And I learned, and I think it's very important, because everybody should write a book. Everybody should write a book, even if it's just about your own life. And I'll tell you why it's important for all of us to write a book. Because at some point in time, these little electrons that we have, they may not function. I mean, just look at it. We used to look at Laserdisc. Now, if you have a Laserdisc, you can't find a player to play it. We used to have mini discs. We used to have CDs. I don't even know anyone who has a CD player anymore. So all these electronic mediums, we keep changing. But the one thing that is constant is the written word. The written word has lasted 2,000 to 10,000 years. That's how we find our history. And at the very least, even if it's only 100 pages, you write about your life. And here's where it's important. It's not for you. It's for those who come after you.
Yes.
And this is really important. This is why it's so important for me to have you on the show, so that everybody knows it's available for them to write a book. And I'll tell you why. My mom passed when I was about 30 years old. But I found a term paper that she did, which was her autobiography, which I found out things I never knew. Now, just think, if everybody just writes a book for their children or grandchildren, store it away, or make 20 copies of it, store them away. At some point in the future, someone's going to find that, and that's a part of them. So what you give now goes forward into the future. That's how you live forever. Well,
Yes.
Doc, are you on Facebook?
Yes.
And do you do Facebook Live?
No, I really don't do Facebook Live. Not much. I just make videos and then I post it on my Vimeo and YouTube channel.
Okay. So Vimeo and YouTube, and they can find that on your website, which I'll put in the show notes?
Yes. They can find it on both my websites, www.afshanhashmi.com and www.drafshanhashmi.com. Then I have a radio show website, which is www.drafshanhashmiradio.com.
Do you own a car wash too?
Huh?
I was like, do you own a car wash? Because there's not anything that you...
Why did you ask that question? That's out of the blue.
I know.
Nice time sitting besides, look at the view. It is so beautiful, the view.
Oh, well, thank you. Last thing. I want you to close your eyes for this. Close your eyes. Now, I want you to think back to when you were 20 years old. And I want you to picture yourself, right? Imagine that person. Now I want to picture yourself as you are right now. You're sitting in your house, you're relaxing, you might have something nice to drink, nobody's home, so it's nice and quiet, but then the doorbell rings, and who shows up is that 20-year-old you. And she looks at you, and she says, what do I need to do to get there a little sooner, like you? And your answer would be?
Hard work, persistence, and hard work.
Because probably a 20. So what was that 20-year-old like that came to your door?
20-year-old myself, if I picture, I was a very studious kind of a girl and very shy. Not at all out in the world. I could never think I could give a radio and a TV show and talk. I was camera shy.
Well, you've gotten over that, haven't you?
Yes.
Well, that's awesome. And ladies and gentlemen, this is what I always say. We are billionaires. And all you have to do is try. You may fail. That's almost assured most of the time. The very first time of anything, we typically fail unless we have a blessing from another life or from another piece of energy. But you have to try and then try again. But Doc, I want to thank you so much for being on the Billionaire Lifestyle Podcast.
Thanks a lot, Emmett, and I really appreciate bringing me in as guest, and I hope your listeners enjoy and learn from my lessons in life.
Thank you so much. Remember, we are billionaires. So your dad gave something to your mom. It was a little bitty cell, and it swam up into her, and it met her parts that was waiting for it. And this is what is so awesome about women. If you give them something, they make you something. If you bring them food, they make you a meal. If you buy them a house, they make you a home. If you give them a piece of you, they will replicate and give you offspring. Only women can do this. This is so awesome of them. But we are all billionaires because once those two parts came together, 2 became 4, 4 became 8, 8 became 16, so forth and so on for 30 days. At the 30-day mark, that replication became a billion cells. Listen to me. At the 30-day mark, you were a billion cells and you had not touched the planet. From there, you kept replicating. Inside of you, inside of your guts, you know, the stuff that processes food, there's a universe in there. There's a ecosystem. There is a spiritual system. That's why we have gut feelings. I'm trying to give you guys the understanding of how complex and how simple you all are and how beautiful you are. But first, it all started with one simple thing. It started with love. You were created in love. That energy does not complete itself unless there's some semblance of love there. What happens is once you get into this world, it kind of takes away from you. And what you have to do is get back to love. And it's really simple. Go to the mirror after you get out the shower in the God body that you were given, bare naked. Look at how wonderful that is because nobody can recreate it. And I want you to look into your own eye and say, I love you. That way, it is hit the mirror, bounce back at you, and it's a part of you. Till next time, love you all. Peace.